This month, some homeowners in Cook County in for a shock when it comes to their property tax bills. Some bills going up 100%. Cook County Treasurer's Office did a property tax analysis, and Treasurer Maria Pappas joining me now to talk about that study. I really appreciate you being here, Treasurer. So let's just get right to it. I mean, the sticker shock is real. What did your office find?
We found that when commercial went down, residences went up.
But when you say went up, we're talking by how much here?
By taxes. So it depends upon the neighborhood. Generally, across the city, everything's up 16%, which is kind of scary, okay? But in West Garfield Park, it's up 133%, okay? So in African-American neighborhoods, North Lawndale is up 98%. And 82% in Englewood. So you're saying, how in the world did this happen?
Yeah.
This happened because the commercial base of the city, all these high rises, commercial buildings that you see downtown are unrented because the businesses have left the city.
And that means they're not paying property tax.
Yeah, so somebody had to pick it up. So the residences are picking it up. So
what's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, if y'all have been paying attention, you might be as surprised as I to learn that in the great city of Chicago, under the leadership of the illustrious Mayor Conehead, black preachers have finally come to their senses, or have they? If you follow blackity-black politics, especially in a city like Chicago, you understand that the city controls the black church in order to control the blackity-black community. And in so doing, they keep black preachers under the thumb of city leadership. And the city tells them what to say and what to do, and they implement that thing in the community, leaving parishioners feeling helpless and hopeless in many instances. Well, y'all, seems like the blackity-black preacher community in Chicago has had enough, and they are coming out against these crazy taxes that the crazy mayor is trying to implement as he gives away all your tax money to illegal immigrants who shouldn't even be in the country, let alone in the city. And y'all are forced to live under the thumb of this mayor, much like we are forced to live under the thumb of the governor here in my blue state. Yeah, we understand it. We get it. We know what you're going through. But it hurts a little more when you see the blackity-black church capitulating to the influence of blue government, left-wing government, liberal government, anti-Trump government. Y'all don't even want to recognize policies that might benefit the community because you are so beholden to the left wing of your party. Well, y'all, seems like these brothers in Chicago have come together and said enough is enough. Mr. Mayor, we about to revolt. The benefit is no longer outweighing the sacrifice. And we are getting heat from people on the ground. You so high up in that ivory tower, you can't see it, you can't feel it, but we in the pulpit every Sunday. And not only are we paying higher taxes in the community, but we coming up short here on Sunday trying to shake these people out their little hard-earned money. The plates is getting thin. The membership is getting thin. What are we to do? Well, we're going to have to push back against leadership. I know, it's the last resort. The blackity-black preachers didn't want to do it. They are fighting their intuition. They are going against their better judgment. But it's all they got left because some of y'all churches are emptying out. Because people see through what is going on. Detach from government. Detach from 501c3 status. Get in your pulpit, preach the word, even if it clear out the place.
Second installment of Cook County property taxes are due today, and a coalition of African-American pastors are demanding a rollback to the increases.
They say there is a property tax emergency that is destroying neighborhoods in the city's poorest communities. WGN's Patrick Elwood has more from them.
It makes no sense.
At the Cook County building, a coalition of African-American pastors are ringing the bell for what they say is an economic emergency. They say their church members from the west and south sides are being priced out of their homes because of skyrocketing property tax rates.
The disproportionate and unjust property tax burden here in Chicago, while West and South Side residents are being crushed by astronomical property tax increases.
In Cook County, property tax rates are calculated by the Cook County Clerk's Office based on the amount of money requested, the levy, by hundreds of local taxing districts. No single government official, including the assessor or treasurer, sets the rates. Cook County Tax Assessor, this office determines the fair market value and the assessed value of more than 1.8 million parcels of property in the county. The assessor, again, does not set the tax rate or the final tax bill amount. The Cook County Board of Review, this quasi-judicial agency, finalizes the assessed values after hearing appeals from property owners. WGN Investigates analysis of the situation found that because of the many still vacant downtown commercial spaces from the pandemic, the Cook County Board of Review shifted more of the tax burden to homes and other residential units after giving large tax breaks to downtown properties. These pastors are lobbying Cook County and state legislative leaders to act fast because otherwise, they say, some homeowners will be forced out come 2026. They want rollbacks and, moving forward, property tax caps.
West Garfield Park, where we have a 133% increase in taxes in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city. And so just on the face of it, the immorality of the people in the poorest neighborhood with the highest increase testifies that the whole tax system is a racket. That's right. And it needs to be shaken up from top to bottom.
Among other things, the pastors want the Cook County Treasurer, Maria Pappas, to roll back the property taxes or freeze them. WGN reached out to that office and a spokesman telling us they have no authority to do that. Only the state can cap property taxes. But Pappas was instrumental in getting the late payment interest reduced and now can be, if needed, spread out over 13 months, all designed to help homeowners avoid that foreclosure.
Now, y'all, don't be too quick to side with these blackety-black preachers who have been silent for far too long. You got to understand, take a step back and look at this situation and understand what's going on. They saying that their parishioners, the citizenry of Chicago, South Side, West Side, the small percentage of blackety-black homeowners in those parts of the city are being taxed into oblivion. Well, if you tax them to the point where they lose their property and you gentrify the place, well, the whitey whites ain't going to the blackety-black church. We know that for a fact, right? So are they advocating for the community or are they advocating for their own survival in this circumstance?
All this hour, there are tense negotiations over Chicago's budget coming to a head.
No one is budging after a closed-door meeting between Mayor Johnson and council members who oppose his corporate head tax. WGN political reporter Taman Bradley joins us live with the latest. Seems like this is going down to the wire, Taman.
Ray and Micah, good evening. It is all quiet here tonight. For a second, there was hope. The mayor and alders against his budget sat down for talks, but things quickly went south.
Yes.
Today at City Hall, an afternoon power meeting abruptly ends. After huddling for 30 minutes, some of the alders who oppose Mayor Johnson's budget left the fifth floor without a deal.
Today, a group of at least 11 alders came to the fifth floor with my hope and expectation that they would actually present me with ideas that I could work with, and they failed to do that.
The mayor says the opposition alders did not bring specifics about any of their proposals.
There was not one proposal or idea that was put on the table for us to discuss.
The alders say they don't trust Mayor Johnson.
We are not going to spend the next 12, 16 hours having somebody in this administration poo-poo our numbers.
Before the gathering, an olive branch. Alders ditched their plan to raise the city's monthly garbage collection fee. Mayor Johnson had threatened to veto a budget that hiked the fee. The alders also agreed to keep youth summer job funding at the levels the mayor wanted.
Hopefully, this is a sign that through our advocacy for working people, these members understand the importance of not passing budgets that disproportionately impact people already experiencing Trump cuts and struggling to make the ends meet.
So far, the mayor is not backing down on his push for a corporate head tax, $33 a month per worker for companies with more than 500 employees. The mayor argues that the alternative plan would place too great a burden on working people and exacerbate the city's shaky financial outlook.
We do have some serious fiscal concerns about some of the fine print of their initial ideas. A budget that relies on overly optimistic revenue projections that fail to materialize will ultimately result in us coming back in the middle of next year to balance our budget to continue the funding of jobs, services, and neighborhood development that Chicagoans have come to rely upon.
Also of concern, the alternative plan includes a 3% tax on off-premise liquor sales. Today, more strong opposition to that from restaurant and hospitality groups.
It will punish our retailers and our consumers dearly if adopted by City Council.
City Council has until December 30th to pass a budget, and the city's Corporation Council is now warning of the dire consequences if they don't.
Come January 1st, in the absence of a balanced budget, we cannot remunerate, we can't pay people, police officers and their safety, firemen on buildings. We have to find our way on this issue. This is an obligation that has to be met.
City Council is scheduled to meet tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then they plan to come back on December 23rd. How the stalemate ends is anybody's guess.
And there you have it, y'all. If you understand what is going on in this scenario, it's kind of sad that it took the preacher so long to come out and say something. But if you understand how politics works, you understand that the people are being taxed on their property in Chicago because there's no one else to tax. The businesses are leaving, just as they're leaving in California. And you say, well, you're losing your major tax base when corporations leave. Who's left to be taxed? The everyday citizen like you and I. Now it has trickled all the way down to the blackety blacks. And now you got the preachers who are squealing, who are begging because they are at the mercy of government. They have been beholden to government for so long, they don't really have any leverage. They're sitting there saying, please, baby, please, Mr. Mayor, please, Governor Pritzker, can you have a little mercy on the blackety blacks? Because you are ruining our revenue base. And the city is saying, well, this is our revenue base first, bro. It's a pecking order to this. And you are at the very bottom, Mr. Blackety Black Preacher, sir. This is how it is because this is how God wanted it, right? Maybe you should pray a little harder, Mr. Preacher Man. Maybe you should preach a little harder, Mr. Preacher Man. As you face these policies we are implementing right on top of your half-ball head. It's unfortunate what's going on in that city, but it's not like we didn't see it coming. And it makes you wonder, when these blackety black preachers step out and they say they are so anointed and they are prophets of the Lord, well, where's your foresight, sir? Where's your discernment? Did you not see this coming? Did God not reveal this to you? And now you are here in the halls of city government crying like a little baby, subject to whatever government dishes out. Because you refuse to get off that plantation. You refuse to advocate for policies that would better your community. No, you just gonna preach and preach and preach as long as it's comfortable behind the scenes in the back room. You ever notice you go to a blackety black church around election time, you always see the Democrats show up to the blackety black church. Ain't never no Republicans showing up to talk to the people. Even if they wanted to, they wouldn't let them. Because the black church is owned by the Democrat Party. So when you see blackety black preachers come out here and start whining and crying and boo-hooing like this, well, those of us who know are not moved at all by this. Because we see that y'all have been disingenuous for so long. You have been pulling the wool over the eyes of the people for so long. We don't trust the words you say anymore. We follow this thing now. We educate it now, sir. And we can see through your shenanigans. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's and unto God that which is God's. Caesar is going to tax you right out of business, right out the hood, right off the block. What is a preacher to do when his people are oppressed by local and state government and ain't nothing he can do because he's been beholden to those same entities for generations? Boy, they own you. They own your church. And therefore, they own your parishioners. They own the community through your church because you've allowed them to do that. Well, you come into a situation where you are being pressed. Just like corporations have been pressed and have moved out of the city and out of the state, your church can't just up and move like that. You are not mobile. The Spirit is planted right there on that block. And even if you leave, even if you board up the building, even if you pack up your Bible and go, the Spirit will still be right there because it ain't about you, sir. And the church ain't locked into the four walls of that building. It'll still be there when you are taxed out of existence. Y'all let me know what you think about this. I'd love to know your thoughts. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time, peace.